In today's video, we're taking a look at the Vader Pro 4 and also the Black Flag Edition. Let's hop into the video. Let's get some housekeeping out of the way with these two controllers and the channel itself. Thank you guys for the 5,000 followers. We did hit that goal. We've been talking about it. And well, we're going to be doing a giveaway. We talked about doing a giveaway. And well, Flydigi decided to hop in and help out. Flydigi did send both of these controllers for reviews, but they're not seeing it before you guys. They didn't tell what to say. Well, other than about this controller, but you'll hear why here in a second. And of course, I'm going to be honest and give you my comprehensive reviews on both of these controllers. And I'll just go ahead, spoiler alert, I love it. But with that being said, they sent they emailed me and said they were going to send me a couple controllers to give away. So with that being said, when these controllers come in, not this controller, but the Flydigi Vader Pro 4, I think, you know, communication between China and here could be a little bit misunderstood sometimes, but they're supposed to be sending me at least 2 of these controllers. If they're not sending me, they might be sending me another controller, a Vader Pro 3 or something like that. Whatever they're sending me, I'm giving away. So with that being said, 5,000 follower giveaway, we'll be getting a Flydigi controller of some sorts, as well as if I get more than one, we're going to give one away to my members as well. So if you want an extra chance to try to win that, just become a member on the channel and you're automatically entered to win. With that being said, I'm also going to be doing this from here on out, where I'm going to try to get brands to just send me extra controllers, extra mics and stuff like that. Members will get the first shot, and then if I get more than one, I'll also extend that over to just subscribers in general as well, just a way to give back to the members of the channel and also to the subscribers of the channel for me doing the free reviews anyways. And for the subscriber based giveaway, I'm going to actually let you know what I need from you in the comments below here in a little while, so just stick around for that. I'll give you a keyword and you'll literally just plug in the keyword that I give you and you'll be automatically entered to win. You do have to be a subscriber though, so if you put the keyword in, make sure you're a subscriber, or well, you know how that'll work. Now that that's done, let's talk about this controller for a second. There's only going to be 500 of these manufactured now and being sold in the US. So if you want the Black Flag Edition controller, which by the way looks freaking flawless, it's a beautiful controller, make sure you hit those links below right now. Go ahead and secure one. I should be putting this video out as soon as it's released on Amazon or right around that area, so try to like keep up with that and everything. Again, I will go ahead and tell you, if you're trying to think about buying this controller, go ahead and pause the video, go to the link, buy this version if this is the version you want. You want to get your hands on the special edition version, because I do recommend this controller. I'm just going to go ahead and throw that out there at the beginning of the video before I actually dive into some of the things of the video, of the controller itself. So let's talk about the unboxing of the controller for a second. I'm just gonna throw some B-roll up. Flydigi pretty much does the same thing. Even with the special edition controller, there is nothing special about this unboxing. It just comes with the controller, the dongle, and pretty much a standard USB Type-C to Type-A cable. I will say though, I'm not mad at it. A lot of times you'll get this amazing unboxing that takes more money into putting the product out, and then there's maybe just a little bit less. And I get it, there's gonna be all this, doesn't cost that much to put more into the unboxing, but hey, look, anything for there to be more into the controller itself versus an unboxing experience, I'm all about. So, you know, take it for what it is. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about that? There's other companies that I review for that really just don't care about their unboxing or the boxing experience. Fine is one of them, and their boxes are just brown with black lettering on it, and I'm perfectly fine with that because the product speaks for itself. So the weights on all 3 of the controllers we comparing today are, well, the Vader Pro 4 came in right around 267.4 grams, where the Vader Pro 3 came in at 257 grams, and the Apex 4 is by far the heaviest controller at 327 grams. Big beastie controller right there. Definitely can feel the weight difference in the hands, in the palms, in the wrist. You got some arthritis going on there. You might want to be careful with that controller. Oh man, I haven't seen the paper boy in a while.
Haven't seen a newspaper in a couple days. Wondering if you ever gonna come back.
Anyways, moving on. So build quality on the Vader Pro 4 itself, it felt pretty good in the hands. It's got a nice plastic to it. Honestly, to me, it didn't feel like it was super cheap or anything like that. Like I was touching some Toys R Us plastic, as Kevin would say over there at Gamer Heaven, but it felt fine. It felt good. The gripple around the controller itself, It felt pretty good in my hands. The gripple on the controller, and if you new here, I say gripple, grip plus stipple equals gripple, hashtag gripple in the comments. It felt good. Between the Vader Pro 3 and the Vader Pro 4, the Vader Pro 4 actually had a little bit more of a rougher, like a little bit more of an aggressive gripple in my opinion, and it was much appreciated. I actually liked the way it felt in my hands a little bit more for the sweaty palm 360 no scope trick shots I do with the car on Call of Duty. I suck, I know. But yeah, it definitely feels great in the hands, and just overall, the controller feels pretty good. So when it came to the xyba buttons, of course, they are tactile, just like the Vader Pro 3 controller were. And I'll be honest with you, upon messing with them and stuff and pressing them and actuating them, they actually were a little bit more stiffer than the Vader Pro 3 was. I definitely welcome the stiffy on these. I definitely welcomed a little bit more of a stiffness on the buttons themselves. They, I don't know, it just felt a little better in my personal opinion playing with it and actually having it in hand versus the Vader Pro 3. Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with the Vader Pro 3, and if I wouldn't have picked up the Vader Pro 4, I would have never even said there was anything wrong with the Vader Pro 3. With that being said, I do notice the difference, and it's a good difference. So take that for what it's worth. The response time on the controller himself too, I mean, they are really, really good in my personal opinion. I mean, as soon as I press it in, pretty much getting actuation out of it, hardly any traveling distance between point A to point B for me to be able to actuate a button on the controller. So that is also great, especially for us sweats that want to use these buttons for, you know, beat 'em up, shoot 'em up, or beat 'em up fighter games. So Dragon Ball Z is coming out. Who you got? So when it comes to the D-pad on all three controllers, Apex, Vader Pro 3, and Vader Pro 4, they're pretty much the same. I'll be honest, I felt like the Vader Pro 4 was just a little bit stiffer than the rest of the controllers. And if I remember correctly when I was playing with everything, I think the Apex 4 was the most loose controller I got. I got them all right here. I'm able just to kind of pick them up and hold them when I need them. But yeah, I felt it was maybe just a little bit more of a stiffness with this D-pad versus the other three I've played with. But honestly, it wasn't a huge difference. It didn't take away from it or anything. The clickiness is probably just a little bit less on the Vader Pro 4, which honestly, it's probably a good thing in my opinion. Hitting mics, let's see. I would say this is not as like such a high frequency with the clicking here, which makes it just a little bit more bearable. A lot of people don't like the clickiness. I don't mind the clickiness. The D-pad does remove, by the way. Does the D-pad? The D-pad does not remove, by the way. Do not, I repeat, do not try to remove this D-pad. I just about ripped this thing out of socket. Holy moly. Let's talk about the sticks for a few minutes on the controller themselves. So they have created their own Hall effect sensor and these joysticks themselves. I don't think there's been a lot of like if they're bad or if they're good or if they're going out faster or not. I haven't really seen any of that floating around on like Reddit or anything like that. If you have noticed any of that, let me know in the comments below. I'll have to check into that. That way we can do another video or something. I can kind of bring that up for durability. But they literally just came out with these. They're pretty much the same. I believe the same sticks as are in the Apex 4 controller, the same technology and everything. So again, the Apex 4 is not new, but it's still pretty new. I think it's like what, several months old now. So it's not, hasn't been out for like a year or anything like that, I don't believe, unless I'm just getting older and time is flying even faster. But when it came to stick drift out of the box and everything, there was no stick drift out of the box. The resting value was not at 0.0002. They were set at 0% dead zone in the app itself. And well, I didn't notice anything in game, and I'll show you some screenplay here in a minute when I get to the other part, which is going to be the most amazing, by far the best I have found on the market for trigger, like, or for your stick tensioners, which are these O-rings right here that come with it. And you literally just, you can turn them on the go and get a desirable, customizable tensioning where you want them in game. This is so much better than the Apex 4, because with the Apex 4, you had to take off the trigger, or excuse me, you had to take off the D-pad, you had to take off the sticks, then you had to pull out the little magnet tool to tighten it down, then put it all back together. And if you didn't like that, you had to pull it all back out. Pro tip with the Apex, just put the freaking joystick on before we put it all back together and see if you like it or not. But in any case, I like this because maybe I don't want such a stiff stick on my right stick playing certain games versus maybe like Call of Duty or Apex or Fortnite or anything like that. You're going to want a stiffer stick on the left, your right for aiming versus maybe your left and all that in other games and stuff like that. That's how I set it up anyways. I don't have it at the loosest over here. I have it pretty much to looseness, but it's not as loose as it can go. The other thing about this though is if you look closely on the ring itself, it'll tell you where you're at. It has like a max, a minimum. I mean, those are just like small details that they didn't have to put into the controller, that they put into the controller that just kind of add to the experience. And those are the things I'm talking about when it comes to maybe like not such a great unboxing experience, but putting that little bit more into the controller. You can just put this in a brown box and ship it to me for all I care. As long as it gets here without zero stick drift out of the box and it's not damaged, that's all I care about. The other thing about these controllers in general is there's no anti-friction ring to say, but these are like metal. They feel metal anyways. I don't know. They might be plastic. Maybe they are plastic. I'm not sure. But there's no like any kind of grinding or anything going on. It's like a hot butter slicing through knife. It's a hot butter slicing through knife. It's a hot knife slicing through butter on these things. They glide super easy around and stuff like that. And it's probably because I know for a fact it's because they put the metal rings around the sticks themselves as well to give you that gliding and less friction and stuff. So when it comes to testing the pulling rate of the controller itself for the sticks, they're 1,000. It's 1,000 pulling rate. I've had no issues with it with the dongle or anything like that. And I'm just going to play with the dongle. I'm not going to play with Bluetooth or anything like that. You could probably find somebody else to do a review on that. It's going to be worse. It's just definitely going to be worse on the Bluetooth side of things. But the dongle, you're golding there. It's a millisecond. I will say though, when I go to test the pulling rate, this controller walks. And what I mean is you'll notice it's going to be a little bit of registry going on there. And that's just because of how freaking sensitive the sticks are on there. So when you go to do it, make sure you tighten. If you do want to test it out yourself, if you want to tighten this stick all the way down, it will help slightly, but I still had some walking. But as soon as I started rotating, and I was getting at the 0.9 to 1 millisecond, so I know it's a millisecond. And again, even with it walking, you seeing it on screen, I didn't have any of that walking in game itself. And when I'm aiming down sights, ADSing, it was perfectly, and that was with the controller. It turned all the way up or all the way down. Now I will say, if you turn it all the way down to the lowest setting on the controller itself, and you go like this or go like this, it will start going up and down. It's almost like freaking gyro up and down and stuff with the controller. So yeah, I wouldn't probably put this at the looseness. The loosest, pretty loose can be still pretty much, you can have it pretty loose, just don't all the way down. I am like just speaking in freaking rhymes here and rhythms and what the crap. So when it comes to tightness of the left joystick, I would just recommend probably putting it not at minimum, just a little bit above. That way you don't get that walking in game. But again, you should be fine if you're not going like this and stuff with your controller, which some old people that play games do that. I mean, I do too. I'm like this when I'm getting shot and stuff. Anyways, moving on. So about triggers and bumpers on the controller for a quick second here. They both are pretty much the same as the Vader Pro 3 and the Flydigi Apex 4 controller, Flydigi, whatever. Now, when it comes to the gripple on the joystick itself, on the trigger itself, I want it to wrap all the way around to the right or to the left of the trigger itself. It's giving you that full effect. Because I mean, I guess I get it. Maybe some people don't want that roughness on their fingers. I guess I'm nitpicking there. So, it is what it is. I would rather have it there. I guess that's me. Let's swap it. Put the gripple on the side and non-gripple on front, and let the people that want gripple play up front, and let the guys and gals that want gripple, like me and everybody else that wants to play with controller. I don't know. Anyways, you know what I'm trying to freaking say. I like gripple.
And I like Vicky, and she likes me back. And she showed me her boobies, and I like them too.
When it comes to the joysticks themselves though, you do have, just like the Vader Pro 3, and this is where I I feel like Flydigi listened to me from my last review of the Apex 4 controller and wish that they'll come out with something similar with the clicky triggers, the mouse triggers, the tactile triggers, whatever you want to call them, versus the triggers that are on this one. Just kind of make a variant controller. I think that would probably go over well with the audience. If, you know, they give us the mechanical buttons, the trigger stops on the back, and the way to loosen and tighten these even better than the Apex 4 controller. So that's just completely all the way around great news. And again, they are just like the Vader Pro 3 when it comes to the trigger stops. They are just as clicky. They're just as fast at actuation. Last thing I'll add to it is they are my favorite on the market, by the way, especially for FPS shooter games. So if you're kind of thinking about, and this is what makes these different. So let me explain the differences between these two controllers for a second when it does come to the triggers, just to kind of go a little bit more in depth on it. So you don't have the same trigger stop mechanisms as you do on the Vader Pro 4 and 3 versus the Apex 4. The Apex 4 has a slew of different options, but I just don't care about all those options. You know, I just like it nice and simple. Mouse clicky triggers, no hardly any throw on the controller to get it to actuate. It's just great in my opinion. So let's move on to some of the extra buttons on the controller for a second. So you do have the C and Z buttons here on the bottom of the controller itself, just like the Vader Pro 3 doesn't have it on the Apex 4 controller. And these control buttons can pretty much be set to anything. They're not, you know, tactile feeling as the other buttons themselves. They're just normal, pretty much membrane buttons. They feel clicky or anything, but there's probably a membrane plunger under there itself. But you can set these up to do whatever. You know, I don't really play with them a whole lot, but it's nice that they are there. You can set them up to keyboard functions and stuff too, just like you do with all the other buttons inside the app itself on the the space station, whatever they call it. So that's nice to see there. But anyways, you do have the 4 back buttons on the back. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on these just because they're the same as in every other controller I've picked up from Flydigi at this point. I'm not mad at them. I don't mind them. I think they're fine for how I play and stuff, for just being able to reach back and forth and hit 4 buttons. It has 4 buttons, which is great. You know, you got to be a pro controller, in my opinion. You got to have 4 buttons, and they have that. So let's just move on from there. If you want to see any of the 4 buttons more in details and stuff, you can go back to any of my other videos and watch that. But I like them. Short answer. I'm trying to shorten this video down. Moving on. So the controller does have rumble motors in it as well as gyro mode in it. So you do have gyro. You can play on like Switch and stuff like that where games are accessible for that. It does have an LED strip on the front of it. I didn't really talk about it in the video, or, you know, I haven't really talked about it a whole lot, but I mean, you can see it there. You can customize it in the app and stuff. It's okay looking. I can with it or without it. It doesn't matter to me. Honestly, without it, that way they could have put even more in the controller, because I know this had ate up a little bit of money to be able to put a strip in there and be able to control it with the components and stuff like that. So it is what it is. You can place all 3 of these controllers on a charging dock. Buy these on Amazon separately. Speaking of chargers being linked below, also these controllers and everything will be linked below as well. So if you're trying to find the best deals, or you just want to help the channel out with the affiliate links, definitely check out the description. And I usually throw a pin up in the comments with them in there as well, just so you can get to them a little bit easier. While you're down there, smash that like button. It helps out the algorithm, especially with a controller review like this. All right, so for the keyword, if you're still watching at this point, and you've been watching this entire time, we're going to mess with the people that try to just go to the comment section to find the keyword, because you know how that goes. They'll go into the comment section and see what keyword has been spammed, and they'll just put the spam. You put whatever you want. If you guys want to like put something that, you know, we all want to get in and do something funny together, that's fine. If you all want to put just different things, you should put I love the video. If you put I hate the video, as long as you're nice to me anyways, you'll be entered into the giveaway. And of course, it's a contingent on you being a subscriber at the same time, and I will get in contact with you somehow, some way. I'll get to your YouTube channel, see if I can find a social media or something like that. So I'm just trying to make it easier for me to get a hold of you guys and gals. But I will be just picking a random winner through the subscribers there. The other way to win is, again, just being a member. No pressure there. You know, either way, it's cool. We just want to give back to the members that have been members of the channel for a while, and I don't get to put out a lot of content for really at all, put out any special content for members over here. So me being able to just give controllers out back to them and mics and all that for supporting me here on the channel is just, I think, an easy way for me to be able to do that. So with that being said, check out the members down below, join the channel, join the members. I appreciate you, Pew Squad. Let's get it. All right, so we're not gonna spend a whole lot of time here, but as you can see, you literally have all the controller stuff you can see from here and stuff like that. So here is the app itself. You can't make it bigger or anything like that. It's one of the kind of downfalls of the app itself. It's not that big of a deal to me personally. The app does everything I need it to do. It's just, I can't move it and do certain things with it. But that being said, real quick here, we're going to go over it now. But from here, you come in here and you can set all your buttons up. You can literally, if you're on your PC side of things, which you have to be, you can click on this and you literally just hit any key on your keyboard if you want it to be that, like a T, and it'll be that. I don't want a T. I accidentally hit A and thought it would be A on the controller. It wasn't. Keep that in mind as well. And then you have the other back buttons here, of course, and then your C and Z, which are the two front buttons on the controller itself as well. Joysticks here, these are your dead zones and stuff. See, this is my problem here. This mess with the curve sensitivity and everything when you mess with this as well. I didn't like that. I kind of wanted to go back to where you can just mess with dead zone by itself, not messing with, I feel like this messes with it. I don't know. But in any case, Kevin goes in a lot of this. You know what I totally forgot is circularity. We're going to cover that right now. Circularity side of things, that we're going all the way back. So just act like we're still there. Circularity side of things, well, one side was, my right stick was a 0 and my left stick was actually a square. And that's because here you can actually switch it from one or the other. There's a lot of goes into this, but it's pretty much circle will be for FPS shooter games and square will be for any other games that you need more of an outside reach and stuff to just set them both to circle at the end of the day. Honestly, that's pretty much what Kevin said, and I agree with him. And we're getting way too much, but yes, the circularity on a controller being a 14% or whatever it was that you saw on screen is pretty much normal for the rectangular side of things because it reaches further out, but it's a square versus a circle, and that's why you get a lower thing because a circle, like a circle, the circle just keeps going around and around. Anyways, moving on.
It's not like a triangle. Triangle has like a corner in the ends. This one is a circle.
And of course, you can just come up here and pick all this up here, and you'll be good to go there. Gyro here, as you can see, you can set this all up here. We don't care. Triggers, you can come here, stroke settings and all that. You know, you're going to put them on the trigger stops like I do. It doesn't matter. Vibration and trigger vibration, all that. I don't have them on in game, so you know, they are in there if you want to use them and stuff like that. All this is just different things, again, that I'm not going to really go over. And in general itself, it's just this right here. If you want to change the colors and all this and everything, you know, if you want to turn it off to get a little bit more out of the controller, you can do that as well. So sure, that's probably what I'll do. Run it with it like this. And then one of the things I do want to point out is if you have multiple games you do want to play, you can come in here and set up 4 different profiles and be good to go and stuff. And then from there, all you got to do is come here to functions and then quick switch configuration. And if you hit select and then any of these buttons, this will switch between the profiles. So if you have more than one game, just set it up the way you would want it. And then just come here and just switch it up on the profile. You don't have to worry about it. One thing I do want you to do before you even play with the controller, before you mess with everything, as soon as you update or as soon as you open the app and everything, if you haven't updated in a while, there was an update even after I got the controller because I got it way pre-release. So you will need to update the controller. You can come here and update the dongle and the controller itself. But that's really it on that. You can come here and test out the pulling rate and everything. As you can see here, going around and stuff. It'll kind of, you know, we like to use, you know, X input to test personally here on the channel, but anyways, yeah, I think that's it for the app. Let's move on. So compatibility with the controller itself, it's pretty much anything Bluetooth, Switch, and PC itself. But I want to bring this up. So I bought a Brooks adapter a while back and it worked for a little while, but once Xbox put that stupid update out and everything, I've had troubles with it ever since. I've got it to work every now and then. I've talked to customer service. I've done backflash this thing 3 or 4 times and re-flashed it, and it just doesn't work. I can't get this to work. So the Brooks adapter is dead to me. Some people have it work still. I don't understand it. I had to find something else, and I did. This is the Magic X, and I literally plugged the dongle into this, plugged it into my Xbox, and I got it to work. Simple as that. So this was working on my Xbox. I would assume this would work with anything pretty much. If I have a controller I've done a review on and you want me to test it, comment below and I will let you know if it works or not when I have time. Don't think I'm going to answer you in the next freaking 10 minutes or even day or two. I have a lot going on, but I will try to get around to maybe answering it with a short or something like that and just let you know if it works or not. But I can tell you the newest controller out that was even pre-released is a Vader Pro 4 that I have access to, and it worked with this. So I would assume pretty much anything will work. I'm going to link this down below again with all the other controllers and stuff as well. This is the Magic X. This is just a little converter you can plug into the Xbox, and it has different modes on it and stuff as well, to where you can just do different things and stuff with it. Again, it works. So moving on. So at the end of the day, I don't really have a whole lot of cons on it. If I want to nitpick, I don't need the RGB lights. Personally, I would rather take the RGBs off the controller and give us a charging dock stand with it instead. That's just a thought anyways. I think that the price effectiveness there, just, you know, RGBs are cool and look cool at the end of the day and stuff, but do they make me a better gamer? And does my gaming experience go up even more having them? Slightly, because they look cool if you think they look good, but I'd rather have a controller that's sitting on a charging dock stand that I can grab every time knowing it's fully charged, and not have to hook it up to a USB-C slot every time I'm done playing the game, or every time I'm done playing a few sessions. I can just set it on a docking station every single time, pick it up, and be good to go every time. I think that brings more to the table than RGB lights, in my personal opinion. You can let me know in the comments below what you think about that, but really that is nitpicking, because this is an awesome controller at the end of the day. I think everything that it's got going for it, including the price of $80 freaking is great. You can again find this link below, but if $80 is a little bit too much for you, I would recommend checking out the Vader Pro 3 controller I did over here. It's $55 on Amazon right now. Killer deal. And there's another coupon you can apply to it. And if you want to check out the Apex 4 controller because of all the special features with the triggers, the on-screen and all that, you can check that out over here. That's a $150 controller. Thanks for the 5K. Peace and love.